Okay, so I have a lot of red and black and white stuff that I've been carrying around, and I misplaced some of it, and then I found it again and thought, okay, I should actually do something with this stuff. I think we all do that. We have some stuff that we love and we tuck it away somewhere safe, and then it starts to pile up. So I thought I would just put together some embellishments and a couple of cards, and you could kind of see what I do with things I have, and you probably have some stuff sitting around so you can get some ideas. And I was thinking that making a video would let me share ideas with some of my friends in different geographic areas. And I know not everybody that's going to watch this video has the same skill level, but we can work through that. You can post comments, you can ask me to make other videos of things I didn't explain well enough for you, whatever you want to do. So I just thought it would be fun, and we'll try it, and if we don't want to do this, we won't do it anymore. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I have a clear happy birthday stamp. When Katie and I were out and about, I found this Hero Arts set that I just had to have. I think that happens to all of us, and it has a birthday cake, and you can decorate it. But for right now, I'm just going to use the happy birthday. And I'm just using a black ink pad that I've had around forever, nothing fancy, just black ink and a nice stamp. And the surface is not the best for stamping on because it has a little bit of give in it, and this is sort of a big stamp, so we'll see how this works. Not well, so we'll try it again. The other thing too is when you have a brand new stamp, sometimes you do have to ink it up and break it in a little bit. I think I might have used this stamp, but I'm not really sure. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this notepad under it so that there is a little flatter surface. Ink it up real nice, and then try again. There we go. There's a nice one. And if you're super picky about it, you could take a pen and fill it in the rest of the way, but I'm just not that picky, especially for what we're doing. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. So I had this vellum sitting around, and it has stars on it, and I love stars, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I think it's fun to layer your message sometimes behind your vellum, just to get more interest in a card. And I also think that adhesives for vellum are a little tricky, so by putting paper or something over it, you can glue under this paper when you attach it to the card, and you don't have to worry about if it shows. The other thing is I'm a lazy fussy cutter. I don't like to cut around detailed shapes and be careful about my circles. So if you use a circle or a heart or a star, something that's punched out, and you're layering like this, it doesn't matter how well I cut that circle because I'm going to cut it behind the ring, so you're not really going to see it. I glued these on and just let them sit, nothing exciting. I used my, you could use probably any glue you have. It would have to be a little bit stiff, but maybe Elmer's would work even. Just, I mean, vellum is sometimes not the easiest thing to glue onto, but I think if you just put it on there and let it sit, it would be fine. I'm a firm believer in looking around the house and using what you have. So even though I have some supplies that are maybe a little higher end or a little more trendy, I don't think that you have to run out and get them. And I think especially as a beginning paper crafter, there are so many different products and there's so many different types of things that you can do. You should really think about just using what you have, what colored pencils or crayons or, pattern papers do you maybe, or just paper in general, do you have sitting around your house from some other hobby? Or, maybe you can steal it from your kids. So I think some of my friends that are just starting out in card making are kind of feeling like, oh, I need to go get this, this, and this. And I don't really think that's true. I think when I was paper crafting sort of the first time around, and rubber stamping, it was sort of she who dies with the most stamps wins. And I don't necessarily believe that anymore. It got to a point where there just wasn't room. And so I think that it's just fun to use what you have. Okay, so you can see I put the happy birthday behind the stars, and sure, it would be brighter and bolder if I put it on the front, but I think it's fun, and I love to have stars on things. That's my thing. I know some people love hearts on everything. I like stars. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and I could let it dry a little more, but I don't really think I need to. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim that out. And I like to do a lot of stuff with monochromatic work or simple color palettes, but you could repeat this process on anything you like. If you're somebody who loves a lot of color, you could just take these concepts and apply them to your own color palette or whatever you have sitting around too. Okay, so I'm going to keep this for now. I think it's really important to keep, like, I keep quarter or half-inch strips, that kind of thing. There's all sorts of fun card making ideas for those. Because I make a lot of cards these days, I don't need big sheets of paper, so I do find that my scraps are more useful than they used to be. So I have this, and then I thought I really like these big rings on the cards, even if I have to trim them down. And so I'm sort of experimenting and seeing what layers I like. And this one might be fun because I used this here. So I could use this here, and then it would be the same paper repeating, or maybe I want a different paper. I'm not sure yet. So to attach this is an example of where I like my art glitter glue, because I can just run a bead along there and stick it right on, and I'm not dealing with like a tape runner type thing or Hermafix. But I do like Hermafix, and I love that it's removable, because once your art glitter glue dries, near as I can tell, you're committed. So I'm going to take this, and we'll try it, and if I don't like it, I'll toss it away. Try something different. But I have quite a few of these circles, and I think it would be fun to use one that repeats the pattern a little bit. So I'm going to try and line up these angles. If you are a big fan of hearts, you could do something fun like this with hearts and repeat them. It's just a matter of looking at your stash and saying, okay, what do I have sitting around that I'd like to use up, and using it. And that's what I'm trying to do tonight. So anytime I cut something like this off, I'm just setting it aside. I'm not necessarily throwing it away. You'll notice that I didn't manage to line up the stripes at all, because my happy birthday would be like that. And I don't think I like that. We could try... Oh, I kind of like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So, and actually in this case, because this is such a big item, and I might change my mind about where I want it, I'm going to use the Hermafix. And that is the one advantage, definitely, about Hermafix, and what drew me to it originally when I wasn't as experienced, is there's two types of it. There's the removable type, and then the permanent. So I can stick this down, and then if we hold it up and say, oh, no, 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 that's not where we want it, with Hermafix we can literally peel it right off and move it over a little bit. It becomes more permanent over time, so you can't change your mind 2 weeks later, but that does give you an idea. Okay, and the stripes got a little crazy, but we'll just pretend that's how I wanted them. And then I think it needs a little bit of texture or interest, and I could do that in a couple different ways. I could put some brads, I could add some ribbon, buttons, I have a lot of different stuff here. I think you can see some of it. It just depends some of what you have sitting around your house. So you can look in your other hobbies, or if you have a sewing bin or buttons. One of my friends has a lot of buttons and she gives me buttons. Embroidery floss would work. Whatever textures you like or different things that you have around. Or maybe just another color of paper that you want to add. I even have some, I didn't really realize they were here, but they are. I have some hearts sitting over here, some little black hearts, and I could use those. I have some flowers. I might use this for somebody at work, and I was trying to keep it gender neutral and not at all romantic, so I think I probably won't put hearts all over it, but we could. What I find is if I end up with too many cards with hearts and a little bit mushy stuff, I don't have cards for everyone in my life. There are a lot of people that I like, but maybe hearts aren't quite appropriate. So I have some little black, I don't know where they came from, and it doesn't matter, jewels here. They're squares, and I can't get a hold of them. And I do have some tweezers, but I don't know where they are, so I'm going to use this pickup tool. And it has an end on it. It's a little bit tacky, so you can just press it down and pick the things up. And my friend who's watching this video may realize that she purchased this. Well, she isn't here, and she left me alone with it, so I get to use it for the winter. And I have kind of fallen in love with it, so we'll just see. We might both need one. Okay, so I have a few jewels. And like I said, I was trying to avoid a heart. I have a little ribbon here. I think the tail on this is a little bit long considering the way this card ended up. So it's not a bright card, and I don't have quite as much room. And I think I make cards both ways, but sometimes I just wait and see how they turn out. I don't know... I don't have any striped ribbon, I don't think, but I might have some polka dotted or something. The white, it's a lot of white right in there. Oh, I like it better up there. And some of you are probably amazing at tying bows, just like you're amazing at fussy cutting. And that's great, and you should be in charge of making the bows. But this'll work. The person will see that I had good intentions. Okay, so we have a couple of jewels, we have some bow, but we still don't really have anything that kind of brings it all together and makes it fun. Here we go. We'll get a little more height, a little more texture. Some polka dots there. I always like polka dots on anything. Now, for my bow, I could use the glitter glue to attach it, and also I really like glue dots for ribbons and things. These are larger glue dots, but because I have the cutter bees that are coated with Teflon, I can just cut them in half. And there you go. There's a smaller glue dot. Put it right on the back of there. And it's still stuck to my scissors, but that's all right. These scissors will clean right up. There we go. And then I'll put this on here. And with glue dots, it might wiggle a little or bounce, but it's not going to fall off. There we go. We'll just squish it down. Okay, so then we have a little more interest and texture. I don't love these square jewels, and I know I have some round ones on the table here, and I think there's so much that's round on this card that I just don't like square things that much. Maybe that's why these are still sitting around. Looks like I need a little more glue right there. And art glitter glue dries clear, so don't worry if you see me mess up, because by the time it dries you won't know. I'm going to put the pin back in there like I'm supposed to. And just so we can kind of make a decision and commit and it's not sliding around, I'm going to pop this thing down so you notice I stick it onto the glue dot and then put the glue dot right on the page where I want it. I think right there is good. And I haven't attached this yet, but there's no reason we can't do that right now. And you'll see that sometimes I just grab whichever adhesive, and sometimes I use a combination. I used to have a lot of different adhesives, and now I pretty much find that with these three I can do everything. Like the Hermafix doesn't roll very well on the back of this because I already put that large embellishment on it, so it's lumpy. And some people really like it when every edge is perfectly sealed down, and so they might not like Hermafix. I think it's just fine. And like I said, as it sits, it gets more permanent, so you can't take it off. Okay, so let's move this into the light for you a little better. Get some jewels on it. I think the other thing that's a lot of fun, and if you've watched Tracy at Gift Basket Appeal a lot, she does this, and it just adds some fun. So when you have dark paper, you can go ahead and take a white gel pen, and you could do dots or stitching or just anything that is fun. And don't worry about, oh, I need to warm up my pen a little. Don't worry about whether your dots and shapes are perfect. I don't know why my pen's being kind of turkey lately. Just what you'll notice is after there's more of them on there, they all kind of blend together and look very nice. And I think it just gives it a little interest. And sometimes I do dots and sometimes stripes, and sometimes I follow a pattern in the paper. Just depends a little bit. And I also think this is a lot of fun if you have a gold pen. I have a gold and a silver and a white. And I really like the gold on black or brown, that kind of thing. My white pen is a little nicer than the others, so I am a little bit biased to the white one. So here you go. You can see how that looks. And it'll take a minute to dry, and then it'll be just fine. So as long as I don't mess it up before then we're fine. And so I have these jewels. I also have some pearls here, but I did say I was going to keep some of these a little bit gender neutral, but I don't know. I think we need a little bling, so let's put some of this on here and see. We can put them right on here and up here. And what I do is I just add this stuff, and if I don't like it, I could just pop it right off with this tool. And I do have tweezers somewhere in my craft kit right around here, but my table's too messy. And these, I might even use some of these because the square is a little bit reminiscent of this black tag board thing that I've used here, this cardboard. So I think I'll just go ahead and drop some of these there. That is a little fun. So like I said, the glue is going to come out because I got a little too much, but then it'll dry clear and it won't matter. And I'm just following the edge of the circle a little bit here. I don't really have a plan, and if I don't like it, I can always add more or change things up a bit. And I think that's just fun. And I have these tiny little ones right here that I never use, and this might be the time if I can even. Okay, so this is where this tool is super helpful, because you can drop them on here like this. So you take it right off of this, get it to loosen up a little. Try not to get the dog hair in there. I don't know about your house. Maybe your house doesn't have the dog hair component. And so if you can see those little tiny ones, they're just an added level of interest. Maybe you wouldn't notice them at first, but then they catch your eye. And I do have some of the tiny other ones too, so I can mix them in. Have the white and the black ones. And I probably have red jewels somewhere, but what I find lots of times with my red tone stuff, and I'm going to put this one right on there just because I've followed too many rules. Reds are hard to match. It could be burgundy, it could be orange. So there you go, and if I wanted, I could do some more stuff around here with that white pen. I could go crazy with the jewels all around. I tend to be a little bit more minimalist than some people, so it's just purely a matter of style. But you can see this one, and then here's another one that I did earlier that's a thank you card. And now that I see these little tiny jewels on this one, I'll probably add some more there. But there you go, you get some ideas. I hope you liked that, and I hope it gave you ideas on how to use your own stuff. If you liked the video, click that you like it or subscribe. And if you don't, then I guess you can tell me what you didn't like about it either. Okay, have fun crafting. Thanks.